Welcome back to the Global Landscapes Forum. I'm Natasha Elkington, and I have Ulrich Apel from the Global Environment Facility joining me.
Yes, hello Natasha.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming, and I understand you're the coordinator for the land degradation focal area.
Yes, that's right.
So do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I work at the Global Environment Facility, and the Global Environment Facility is the financing mechanism for the 3 Rio conventions. And financing of restoration is really our core business.
Okay, great. So what we know is that there seems to be a lot of momentum, a lot of political will in trying to restore our degraded landscapes. But the point is, how do we get this funding? Do you want to tell us more about that? How are we going to finance these initiatives we're trying to achieve?
Yeah, here at the GLF, that's of course a question we discuss a lot. And we have, of course, discussed yesterday of the huge gap and the huge demand that is out there for funding restoration. But at the other hand, there's really a big optimism that funding is not the problem that it used to be. So funding is out there, and the countries and all the stakeholders that are here, they're really getting into action. They are getting ready to approach this funding, approach the institutions, and being more active in mobilizing this financing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in terms of Africa, how do we attract? Because the private sector also needs to be involved. So what are the plans to get them involved in Africa in terms of funding?
Yeah, this is very important because, of course, only the public funding cannot address all the demand. So we need really a concerted effort. The financing of the private sector is very important in this regard. And we at the GEF, we have in the recent years tried some pilots where we help crowding in private sector finance by taking some of the risk that the private sector has when they are investing in restoring landscapes. That could be something like risk guarantees or taking junior shares in one of the bigger funds, for example, in the Moringa fund. And these are models that have provided some very good experience, some valuable lessons learned, and that we want to upscale now in the coming years.
Great. And then in April of this year, I understand that 30 countries pledged about $4.1 billion towards restoring landscapes. How realistic is that?
This is correct. So the GEF has just concluded its 7th replenishment, and this is a 4-year phase. So we will have 4.1 billion for the next 4 years for all the environmental issues that we are addressing, not only for landscape restoration. First of all, there was pledges. I think it was even 32 donors that pledged these funds. This is really for real, this money. The pledges are coming in within this 4-year period. And then we can fund our projects in our focal area. So we have 5 focal areas, which includes biodiversity, climate change, land degradation, international waters, and chemicals and waste. And then we will have a focus on landscapes in GEF 7, on some key landscapes. For example, here in Africa, it will be the Congo Basin. It will be also dryland forest landscapes, and then some production landscapes where we want to address restoration in a comprehensive approach so that it really is sustainable on the long term. And those landscapes, production landscapes where commodities need to be addressed, where we want to stop deforestation by addressing the commodity supply chain. And just some examples where we think that Africa really has some potential to be part of this portfolio are, for example, in Eastern Africa, the cocoa belt. Then we have that is in Western Africa, of course, but in Eastern Africa, the coffee landscapes with restoration, the whole Sahel zone with where beef production and dairy is important. And then, as I mentioned, the Congo Basin and dryland forests in the south.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much for joining us and for giving us insight into funding. And we wish you the rest of a good forum.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Natasha.
Thank you.
Thank you.